Do you think this makes sense? Narrow room. A small desk that can only fit one laptop, and several medicine bags rolling on the floor. A suffocating smell emanated from the place due to the lack of ventilation. This is different from what I said at the beginning. How can you change the story as you wish? In the hand of Juyeon, who was on the phone, was a notebook that Presepe had previously seen. A tragic reverse harem game? Juyeon let out a dry laugh, as if she couldn't believe what she was reading in the settings book. In this way, the influence of a true hero will increase even more. But this is completely different from the story I wrote. You may not know, but in this field, what is most important is not the tight story or the elaborate plot. Rather, the story should be shocking and exciting. Through the old telephone, a man's voice emanated. Juyeon's features wrinkled as much as she could, then she said sharply as if she couldn't accept it, "So, weren't you supposed to tell me from the beginning? That the story might not go the way you wrote it? That it might be subject to drastic changes? At least you should have given me a hint. None of this was mentioned in the contract. Now that the contract has been signed, what's the point of sticking to it? The market wants excitement, and we can't help but cling to the market. Honestly, just keeping Vidar as a character is a win. We will just let this character go according to the original story. This is a promise." "No, wait a minute. I'll hang up now. Take care of your health." Juyeon wanted to say something else, but the man hung up the call coldly without the slightest hesitation. She stared at the disconnected phone in amazement, then threw it carelessly on the desk. Then she lowered her head and whispered, "This is unbelievable. How could I do to my self-made characters like this? Ha!" Her fingertips trembled slightly. Nonsense, they call it a tragedy. If they wanted this kind of writing, they should have asked someone else but me. Why me in particular? She hit the desk with her fist violently, and the slid and fell, rolling to the floor. "I didn't want to write something like that. Permission? What did you want to write?" Cough. From Juyeon's lips, which were trembling with anger, a faint cough escaped. She picked up the medicine quickly as she always did, then let out a long sigh as she stared at the empty medicine bag. "I just wanted to check the reservation time." Pass with the phone in hand, Juyeon made a call, hurriedly checking in on what looked like a hospital appointment. After she finished her call, she couldn't let go of the phone from her hand. She started browsing the numbers, looking for someone. But her phone didn't have those usual numbers. No mother, no father. No sister, no brother. There was no trace of the family. Only accumulated, cold, threatening letters, telling her that she was late with her payments. Others, at such a moment, call someone to complain about their concerns. As for me, who was born without parents or friends, I find nothing but bitterness that makes life unbearable. A sarcastic smile filled with disappointment appeared on Juyeon's face. Then she leaned her body on the desk, muttering alone, "Really? I hate this." That was really strange. The rays of the summer sun streaming in from a small window the size of a hand bathed her face in light, and the narrow room that had previously seemed dark and confined was now nothing but bright. However, Juyeon looked like she was crying, even though she did not shed a single tear. Juyeon didn't say anything else. Instead, she picked up the settings book that was rolling on the floor, and held it to her chest with a sad face. Then, as soon as she closed her eyes and opened them, Presepe found herself on the street. "Where am I?" As she turned her gaze apprehensively, her eyes fell on a huge hospital looming in the opposite direction. She quickly turned around and saw Juyeon walking a few steps in front of her. Did she just come back from the hospital? You don't know how much time had passed, or what winter followed after that, but the earth and the entire horizon were covered with white snow. The cold must have been bitter, but Juyeon was wearing only a light, worn-out jacket, walking aimlessly, carrying a clear plastic bag containing medicines in her hand. She was lost in thought, as if she had lost sight of this world. Why is she like this? Juyeon's face was very pale. Her color was dull, and her body seemed weaker and thinner than it was before. The coughing would not stop, and she would even cover her mouth with her thin hand and emit a low moan. As for the passers-by, they looked at her with disgusted eyes, and yet she was shrinking more and more. As she was walking with faltering steps, she suddenly stopped. Her eyes were fixed on somewhere in front of her. That was a store. On its facade was hung a large poster that read, on the poster were faces familiar to Presepe. And so are those hurtful phrases. Then she continued walking staggering, pretending that she did not see anything. Cough, cough, it was only for a moment that her eyes wandered to the poster, until Presepe found herself again inside that narrow room, with Juyeon lying on the bed. Juyeon was groggy trying to get up, but she looked miserable and as if she would drop dead at any moment. It took an unknown amount of time, until she craned her neck to look out the half-open window. There was no trace of the white snow she had seen before. All that was flying in the air were dry, with leaves similar to Juyeon's exhausted body. With her emaciated fingers, in which only bone remained, she closed the curtains as she had agreed, then swallowed the medicine as she was accustomed to doing carelessly. Then she sat down in front of her desk with difficulty. The computer screen was full of articles with the same titles. The comments were harsher. What trash toy is this? Even if it was made underfoot, it would have been better than this. The plot is all twisted, and the characters are crazy. They tricked us into talking about a main male hero, but it was all absurd. To be honest, at least the character Vidar will remain the same as in the original story. This is a promise. But it was a lie, nothing more. You have a package. The voice came suddenly, and Presepe turned, and so did Juyeon. The latter staggered to her feet, then took the small package the delivery man had left at the door and took it back inside. She sat on the floor and started tearing the wrapper apart. She furiously tore off the poster and cut the tape. She collapsed, crying silently, without a sound. I did not write this story to hear such talk. The little knife trembled between her fingers. I wanted to write a story like mine, a story like hers. Only now did she begin to remember clearly. Why did you make that game? Why did you write this cursed story? A miserable life without family or friends. All she was good at was escaping into imaginary stories, hoping to console herself with them. She was abandoned since her childhood. She did not know the meaning of trust, nor did she experience normal human relationships. Her body was weak to the point of the curse, and there was no one to extend a helping hand to her. With time, she got used to that life. Yes, so what does it matter? I don't need anyone. But, maybe she was really lonely. Although she didn't understand what that feeling was. Maybe that's why she wanted to write her story about Praesepe, who was locked in a cage she made for herself, and then finally dared to go out and meet others. I will check for myself. Just then, Juyeon grabbed something that was inside the box. It was a shiny disc on which was written in clear handwriting, I will see with my own eyes, for myself. Biting her lip resolutely, Juyeon sat in front of the computer, her red eyes burning.